Has your offer just been accepted and now it's time to hire a home inspector? Or are you just curious on how to qualify a home inspector? Well, today on Real Estate Whiskey Talk, we are joined with Alex Gingles of Gingles Inspections. He's going to enlighten us on some of the things we should be inquiring about as we contract for a home inspection. Good day. Welcome to Whiskey Real Estate Talk with Drew. Today we are joined with Alex Gingles with Gingles Inspection, and he is going to give us some information on what to ask and shop for when looking for an inspector once your offer as a buyer has been accepted. So first, Alex, I'd like you to introduce yourself to everybody and tell them who you are.
Hello, I'm Alex Gingles. I am a master inspector. I have been inspecting homes full-time this is my 10th year. And I have recently moved down to the Branson area about 2 years ago and just love inspecting homes, helping people understand the homes that they're buying.
Okay. Quick caveat, it is Whiskey Real Estate Talk with Drew. Today I'm having some proper 12. It's apparently too early or too late in the day for Alex, so he's accepted the idea of having some coffee instead. So today he's enjoying a little Cedar Creek coffee, which is my day job, roasting and packing coffee down in Branson, and I believe he's picked the fresh blackberry, I believe. Anyway.
I guess I didn't clarify. I was hoping to put some of that in my coffee.
Oh.
I'm just kidding.
Go right ahead. Anyway, all right, so I'm working with a client. They've made an offer on this property that they saw on Zillow that we had to go look at 9 o'clock at night. They're in love with it. The offer's been accepted. What should they be doing next in regards on picking an inspector? Why? What should they be looking for? What should they expect from that person? Like, what are all those things that they need to know to help make that process better for them?
There's a lot of things to look for. I would say one would just be experience. That's very important, and some of the tools and services that they can provide. So one, experience. You can do some research online. Obviously, look at their website. Look at the reviews. Sometimes the inspectors that have minimal experience, you can see that in their reviews that they get. So one, look at reviews to kind of see what other people are saying. One, you can also call the inspector. So if you're shopping around, you're online on Google, call a couple of those inspectors that show up first in search and just kind of feel them out, like ask them how long they've been doing inspections, what kind of certifications they may have, and what type of other services they provide.
Elaborate a little more on that, because I believe in the state of Missouri I could be an inspector tomorrow.
Absolutely.
And I own a home, but does that make me qualified? Yet again, back to how do you weed through them to know who actually knows what they're looking at?
Yeah, so he's correct. In the state of Missouri, right now, there is no certification for home inspectors. So anybody can be an inspector tomorrow. As far as, what was the question again?
Credentials, what makes you able to stand above the rest, as an inspector? What would be best to describe how, are there certifications to look for? Because especially if you're not in our area, and you're shopping in St. Louis or New Orleans or wherever you might be, what should you be asking of those inspectors to know you're getting someone that knows what they're talking about?
Yeah, absolutely. So even though the state doesn't have any certification for the home inspector, the ancillary services typically do. So I'm also certified through the state of Missouri to do termite inspections, so I can look for wood-destroying organisms. I'm also certified through the state to do septic inspections, and so a lot of homes in our area are on septic, and people are needing that service. And so, making sure that the inspector that you're looking for has that certification to do that, so they know what they're looking for. I am part of two different trade organizations, national trade organizations that represent home inspectors, and their yearly requirement is a lot of continuing education. And so I'm always participating in that, learning about new building practices, learning about new things that have come up through the Consumer Product Safety Commission. And like I said, just different construction practices that are always evolving and new materials that come out so that we're familiar when we see that stuff in the field.
Not to elaborate on that too much, but what is that? You said two different organizations. What are those called? So if I'm stumbling through Company B's website in New Orleans and I'm like, oh, hey, this person has this. what are those things to be looking for?
Yeah, so one is ASHI. It's the American Society of Home Inspectors. They are they have been around the longest. They were the ones that kind of really got the home inspection industry started, per se. They were the first ones to establish like a standards of practice, which is what us home inspectors follow when we're at a home. And there's also NACHI, which is the International Association of Certified Home Inspectors. And they're the largest. They have the most members and provide like the most resources for home inspectors. So like on my website and other inspectors' website, you may see their badges on stating that they are members of those associations.
So I'm going to assume with all of that, they're going to have like a criteria that you're trying to match and keep up with industry standards and regulations. But I'm also assuming there's probably fees associated. So back to that anyone could be an inspector game, you've got skin in the game. You've spent time, money, and energy to be a part of something bigger than you, to say we're going to do this to a certain level of practice, to a certain level of care. Like, is that true? Like, is there, so you've got like, that puts those kinds of inspectors above everybody else, correct?
Yeah, absolutely.
Is there, I don't know if fraud's a thing in the game or not, but is there a way to fact check that someone says they're who they are on an inspector level? Like, can I go to either one of the organizations and pull their records and see if you're a current?
Yeah, absolutely.
That way, like I said, I don't know if it's a thing. I just know our society's getting, everything's so fast paced right now, and
Yes.
the market's shifting constantly, so things are changing. And if there's the way to search that information, it would be, if you feel that their website's a little off or something just doesn't seem quality, or you talk to them and it seems not quite right, and they're offering a service that you think should be a certain price and they're doing it for a fraction of that, like there's a way for someone to do a little bit of research there.
Absolutely. It's like on my website, I have my certification numbers through those trade organizations. I also have my master inspector license number on there as well. And so, yeah, you can go to those organizations and you can type in my name or my member number essentially, and it'll show that I'm in standing. And
Okay, because like I know, like as a real estate agent in the state of Missouri,
it's on the board of.
You can search me as a person, and you see that I am a current complying, done my certifications and training for this calendar year, and I'm up to date, and that like just helps further establish that the business is taking the time to do the work to the best standard that they can possibly do. Because at the end of the day, you want your customers' best interests in mind.
Yes.
And you want to be the best trained possible. You don't want a doctor that was a doctor in the 80s that hasn't practiced medicine in 40 years to do surgery tomorrow.
Yeah.
So same thing, like, and yet again, I know it's not apples to apples, but at the same time, training and time means these companies are taking the time and due diligence to be the best to serve your needs. So
Exactly.
with all of that information about just the basics of what your home inspector qualifications are and stipulations are for looking for a good inspector, I would like you to tell everybody where they can find you if they happen to be in the area here down in the Branson Tri-Lakes 417 area code. If you have any need of Gingles Inspection services, how do they get a hold of you?
Yeah, so I have a website, ginglesinspections.com. My last name starts with a G, so it's just like Jingle Bells, but with a G. I'm also on Instagram. I post a lot of content on there, so you can find me there. You can Google search my name as well. You know, I put my last name as my business name, just to show my integrity, I guess you could say. I'm not just fly by night changing my business name whenever something bad comes up. So yeah, that's how you can find me. Just type in my name, you'll come across me.
Okay. Thank you again, Mr. Alex. Thank you for coming and enlightening us on just some of the nuances of what picking a qualified home inspector should look like and what you should look for. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to Real Estate Whiskey Talk with Thru. Hope that this week's episode was beneficial. As always, here on the channel, we are looking for new guests to share their industries and looking to help others reach their real estate goals. If that is you, please contact me.